Hello and welcome to another one. This is episode number 2 of object-oriented programming in Java programming language. So this is Great Minds Tutorials, and today's episode I'm going to be continuing with our methods. So in the previous episode, I just did a simple program that was displaying my name as and displaying my name. So in this episode, I'm going to introduce you to a value returning method. So I'm going to say public static as always. And then now in this case, I wanted to return an int, and then I want to say calc sum. So you must be specific with your naming of your method that what is it doing. So the calc stands for calculate, and sum, we are going to be calculating sum. So in order for us to calculate the sum, we're going to need num1, and we are also going to need another parameter, which is num2. So this one, let's label it as num1, and the second parameter value, we're going to label it as num2. So in this case, when you open it up, it should be able to give you it's just that my compiler is still loading. My laptop is a little bit slow, but it should be able to give you an error here. Why? Because here you specify that this is a value returning method. It should give you an error somewhere just before this last bracket of the block of code. But yes, this is what I'm talking about. So it should give you an idea, but it's going to tell you that you're missing a return statement. So once you write a returning value as an int and you're not specifying void, you need to return a value, because what you're saying is that you're saying that this is a value returning method. So now, okay, inside here, I'm going to say I'm going to need a sum. So now sum is going to be num1 plus num2. And then after that, after doing the calculations, then I can then put in a returning statement. I can just say return the sum. That is all that I'm going to need from that side. So in the main class, this is where I need to take in prompt user for input. So for me to prompt the user for input, I'm obviously going to need scanner class. And then I'm going to say sc new scanner. We've been doing this in our basics. If you haven't watched about basics, there is a series or a playlist on basics of Java programming. That is where you can learn all of this. In one of the episodes, we've been dealing with this. So, okay, now I'm going to add the import up there. So after doing this, then I should be able to tell the user to, let me just remove this comment. I should be able to tell the user that please enter the first number, and then colon, and then let me just remove the ln so that you can just put it down there. Then I'm going to need num1 here. I'm also going to need num2 here. So here I'm going to say num1 is assigned to sc.next int, since I'm dealing with an integer here. And then I'm going to say system.out.println. I'm going to say please enter the second number. Same thing, I'm going to remove the ln because I want it to appear on one line. Then I'm going to say num2 is assigned to sc.next int also, because we are taking in an input. So now, so in here, the second thing, we need to process the information. Then we're going to say that here we want to calculate the sum. So in this case, then I'm going to say sum, which I need to declare. Then I'm going to say sum is assigned to. So in order for me to calculate sum, there's no need for me to calculate the sum because I already have a method which is called calc sum, which is going to do that for me. So you just get here, you say calc sum, but you need to pass the arguments because there's two parameters here. So the first argument that I'm going to be passing is num1, and the second argument that I'm going to be passing is num2. So in that case, that should be able to calculate the sum and store it as the variable which has been declared as a sum. Why? Because this is a value returning method. So if here it was a void, then if this was a void, then this was going to give me a problem. Why? Because it will tell me that calc sum is a non-value returning method. But in this case, hence, this is very important for us to have a value returning method if we wanted to return something. So then after this, I want to display the sum. Then I'm just going to say that the sum of the two numbers, and then I put the number here, which is num1, and then I concat and then say and concat num2 is concat, and then I'm going to write sum. So it should be able to come and access this method here and calculate and bring it back here. So I'm going to show you something which is very important that you should look out for, because in some other codes you're going to find that they write it. So okay, now here when we say 20, we say 30, that should be able to give us a 50. So in Java programming, what happens is that whether you have your sum before or after the main, I mean, whether you are having your method before or after the main class, it should be able to work properly, should be able to give you correct results. But in C++, you have to do extra stuff in order for it to be able to work for you. So in this case, it's able to do the things, it's able to say, please enter the first number, which is 20. Please enter the second number, which is 30, and then it says that now the sum of the two numbers 20 and 30 is 50, which is correct. And then this was it for the second video, and in the next video I'm going to try and touch the concept of helper methods, and after that we're going to start working on our classes, and we're going to be dealing with our classes. And that is it for me for today. Till the next one, please remember to comment, like, share, and subscribe. That is it from me for today. Cheers.